What's up, film buffs? This is Brian coming at you from Toxic Reviews, and today we are reviewing The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Roll it. Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren take on one of the most sensational cases of their careers after a cop stumbles upon a dazed and bloodied young man walking down the road. Accused of murder, the suspect claims demonic possession as his defense, forcing the Warrens into a supernatural inquiry unlike anything they've ever seen before. So I actually really liked the first two Conjuring films, especially part two, in the main trilogy. So there's a lot of spin-offs that happened from this. You have the Annabelle films, you have The Curse of La Llorona, you have The Nun. The Nun was okay. I would say the only other one that's really great in the spin-offs, which is probably my second favorite film in the series, is Annabelle Creation. Please watch that. It's a fantastic movie. Unfortunately, this is the first time that James Wan is not directing from the original trilogy. James Wan directed Part 1 and 2. It is now directed by Michael Chavez, who directed The Curse of La Llorona, which I have not seen, so I cannot judge him as a director, only off of this movie. So I was a little worried seeing this movie, knowing that James Wan was not attached as a director. But the main reason why I see these films is because, well, one of the reasons why I see these films. Of course, you want to see some scary visuals and, good old horror stuff, but Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson's characters of Lorraine and Ed Warren are a very good reason to enjoy these films. Their chemistry is electric on screen. Their story is great. Even in this film, they go more into their past a little bit, and you get this warm and fuzzy feeling in the pit of your stomach when you see them on screen, and they get into their love story a little bit, which is a nice little break from all the horror that is going on. So this is based off of an alleged true story. Well, it is a true story. The case was a true story. All the stuff that happened with the possession and everything, obviously, no one is going to know whether that's true or not. But it's the first case to ever have a defense for demonic possession. So Ed and Lorraine Warren have to prove that this kid was actually possessed because he murders one of his friends and he says he was possessed. So they have to prove that this kid was or was not possessed before he gets sentenced, because more than likely he's probably going to get the death penalty because of the nature of the crime. Brutal. The film is entertaining. Never once was I bored by this movie. The problem that I have with this film is that I don't think the story in itself is enough material to keep you interested as a horror fan. So there are some truly terrifying scenes in here. One stands out the most, and it is a morgue scene, and it scared the hell out of me. Very well executed, very well directed. The makeup on the entity is pretty horrendous and horrifying. The sound design, the scene is just really well done. That's really the only scene that stands out to me. Performances in this film are great. Again, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are one of the main reasons to watch these movies. Their chemistry is fantastic. Their characters are great. They develop over these three films very nicely, very well done. Rory O'Connor does a really great job. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. It's spelled really weird. Sorry, Rory. I haven't seen him in too many things. He hasn't been in too many things if you check his IMDb. But hopefully we could see him more because this guy is fantastic. Very believable, very terrifying in some of the scenes he's in. The child actor played by Julian Hillard that was exorcised by the demon.
Exorcise the demons. This house is clear.
He does an amazing job as the possessed child at the beginning. There is one thing about exorcist films that it kind of is unrealistic. Like in the original film, you have the the main character and she's possessed and she turns her head completely around to look at the people. And then at the end of the movie, when she's unpossessed, she has no broken vertebrae or any broken bones or cartilage in her neck. Not Not sure how that's possible. It's not really believable, especially when she goes down the stairs in her little spider fashion. That's kind of what happens in this film because they're doing an exorcist on this kid and he twists his body in such an unnatural way that I'm like, okay, even if they take the devil, the demon out of him, how the hell doesn't he have any broken bones? Like he twists like this like a pretzel in this movie. And I'm like, is his back has to be broken? It's a movie, but just an observation. Just an observation. The film is definitely an homage to The Exorcist. Everything from the first scene when the priest walks out of the car with his briefcase and his hat, and you get a shot of the house, which it gives you that nice little fuzzy feeling in the pit of your stomach, which I like because The Exorcist is bomb. Exorcist. The cinematography is actually really nice in this movie. There's some really nice shots, some nice little tracking shots and shadows. The use of shadows is great and light. So it creates this atmosphere, a very warm, almost most of the film has a very warm feeling until you get to the ghost scenes, entity scenes. Camera work is very well executed in this. Not as well as James Wan's films, though. James Wan, again, has a very particular eye for things that just blows me away every time. Whenever I watch a James Wan film, I'm always thinking of a classic 1970s, 1980s horror film. And it gives you that good old horror feeling. James Wan is a master horror filmmaker. Even the films that do not get good critical responses are still very well executed. James Wan has a very particular eye when it comes to aesthetics, story, scares. He's not a director that just throws out jump scares. You know, loud music that's going to scare you instead of an actual visual. James Wan is very methodical when it comes to his directing style with horror. I mean, the guy made Aquaman work. And Fast 7, I guess that's a little debatable, depending if you like that series or not. But I think he did a great job with the unfortunate passing of Paul Walker in that film as well. But James Wan, everything from aesthetics to directing, really knows how to build tension. He is a master horror filmmaker. And I will say that all the way to the end of his career, which is hopefully not soon. I really don't think the subject matter of this movie is interesting enough to carry the entire film. It's an interesting story. Okay, a court case defense for demonic possession. Okay, that sounds interesting. It kind of has that exorcism of Emily Rose feel, where the exorcism of Emily Rose kind of balanced out the horror and drama here. This film, although never boring, never hits the greatness of the first two movies. So the film is missing that horror spectacle aspect of it. What I mean by that is the first two films set up this look, this mood, where in this one, you could tell it's directed by someone else. The first two films, I was terrified. My heart rate was up the entire time. This film, it's more of an investigative film. So there are some scary scenes in here, but not terrifying, which is when I watch a horror film, I want to be terrified. I want to be creeped out and scared. The morgue scene scared the hell out of me, but I wanted more of that. So this film is definitely worth a watch. If you saw the first two films, you're gonna pick up on what I mean by how you're gonna miss the directing of James Wan. But at no point are you gonna be bored with this. It's a good one-time watch. I hate saying that for the main Conjuring trilogy, but it's a good one-time watch. Very well executed, very well done. Nothing crazy offensive about the movie. And by offensive, I mean like offensively bad compared to the other two. Like it's not a bane on the existence of the franchise. I'm talking to you, Annabelle Comes Home. I'm going to give The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, a 6.5 out of 10. That was my review, Film Buffs. Thank you so much for being here. If you did like this video, please like, subscribe, and share to catch me every time I'm on air. You guys have a great day, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time right here on Toxic Reviews. Adios.